Week. In the meantime, state lawmakers have wrapped up their first full week of the legislative session, tackling a variety of issues. So here is Steve Bunin and Drew Mickelson with a look at what was accomplished and also at what's ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, police reform, taxes, the governor's inaugural address among the first week highlights. Our Drew Mickelson following it all in Olympia. So, Drew, this is certainly a legislative session like we've never had before, mostly online, like a lot of last year. But security at unprecedented levels right now. How would you say the first week went?
It seemed to go well. It was definitely unusual. We saw some things here at Olympia that we have not seen before at the Capitol.
Come on, let's go arrest them.
Of course, the National Guard set up camp here last weekend, and they remain in place. Monday, 2 people were arrested. There were some folks who were upset about the fact that the Olympia Capitol was closed to the public, not only because of security concerns, but also because of COVID concerns. 2 people got arrested out here, but that did not stop the legislature from gathering themselves in right around 11 o'clock. And it was odd. We saw lawmakers wearing masks. This was the largest group of lawmakers we expect to see inside the Capitol because they passed rules to enable them to conduct most of this session online, over the phone in some cases. The first day of hearings on Tuesday, they hit the ground running with a very important bill for a lot of folks. A long list of police policy reforms being looked at. Everything from banning tear gas to banning chokeholds as well. And despite the online-ness of everything, members of the public told us that they were happy that they were still able to share their thoughts with legislators.
Stoney was killed by Officer Craig Keller on July 3rd, 2019 in Paulsville. Stoney is the father to 4 of my children.
Also, Drew, this proposal to create a new state tax got its first public hearing. So we know it's a capital gains tax. Can you tell us the pros and cons according to Democrats and Republicans?
Yeah, and there are some folks from the Democratic Party who don't like this idea either. But essentially, it would be a tax on the top investment earners in the state. The governor says the top 2% of stock followers and stock investors would be impacted by this, but he says it would help the entire state. It would raise more than $1 billion. What does that look like? I'll take a look.
The Washington State Capitol is 287 feet tall. According to EHD.org, if you stacked $100 bills beside it, the governor's $1.3 billion in new taxes would make for an almost mile-high stack. If you want to look at just his capital gains tax on the state's top investment earners, that stack is only 3/4 of a mile. Let's look at how much money would go to certain areas. Governor Inslee wants to spend $397 million on COVID-19 relief. That stack is just over 1/4 mile high, which is how high the stack would be if he gets the $365 million he's proposed to spend on social inequities and police accountability. As for his entire budget, fasten your seatbelts. He's proposing to spend $57.6 billion, which is a 38-mile-high stack of $100 bills.
And Drew, I know you spoke with the governor about the upcoming inauguration day in Washington, D.C. for President-elect Biden and the potential threats made for all 50 state capitals, including, of course, Olympia. How concerned is the governor?
Well, he said he's concerned. He has ordered and activated the Washington National Guard to remain here in place through the inauguration. We asked him if this was overkill and what we should be planning for.
Well, it depends a bit on the national stage and what the intelligence reports are. As you know, the FBI and other intelligence agencies, unfortunately, have seen considerable threats that still exist, both on the 17th and on Inauguration Day. So we follow the intelligence, and it has been, frankly, disturbing in a number of degrees.
As for whether or not it's overkill, the governor says this is the right response, and he hopes to send the National Guard and to take down these fences once the inauguration is over on Wednesday. Back to you.
Now, that would certainly be a relief. Drew Mickelson reporting from our state capitol.